What up, people? It's your boy Master Chudy out here with another My Adventure of Superman with review episode 5. You will see that a man can lie. You will believe a man can lie. First of all, let me start off by saying this. Show, what are you doing? What are you doing, bro? What are you doing? I've never seen so many things wrong with an episode. And that's not to say there were good parts of it. But man, this episode. Anyway, let me talk about it. So, if you don't know, basically, today the episode starts with Jimmy being hyped that, hey, all of his buddies are going to go on a camping trip for him to find out about their Bigfoot, to find out about whether Bigfoot exists or not. And he's hyped, but obviously Lois is somewhere out there, and Clark is somewhere doing his superhero thing. So he still assumes everything is going to be good. Just to give you a spoiler warning, his podcast or his YouTube videos that he talks about the supernatural and the are they out there type of videos are getting are getting attacked by a debunker, basically saying, nah, he ain't spitting facts. That's neither here nor there. But anyway, we get to the fact that Lois from last episode is still trying to figure out and trying to get Clark to confess that he's Superman. A scenario from last episode that I thought was so dumb and contrived about how she found out. You've rushed it. This thing is the chemistry is not even there for that to have been earned. But that's neither here nor there. So Clark comes into the office saying that, hey, I've got something I want to do. There's this new story I want to do. I want to track these weapons that Livewire has been shipping across Metropolis because people are getting hurt. I think there's a real story. Lois is beginning to become enamored with it. Even Clark says that, I've confessed, or he's told Jimmy that, hey, I want to tell her that I like her, confess my feelings to her. And he tries to do that. But Lois is like, I want us to interview Superman and let's see if he can help. But of course, as you know, there are certain things that happen. Everything is getting everything is getting essentially. I'm sorry, I'm not thinking well. But anyway, the fact of the matter is that Clark gets called up to do, the daily usual Superman thing. So he's always giving his excuse that, oh, I got to get a bagel. But he's out here saving a cat from a tree. He's out here saving people from a train. He's out here saving people from a building. And Clark has managed to get also an old police scanner so that he can essentially find out about these weapons, but at the same time also keep track of what's happening in Metropolis. Lois tries to track him down with the scanner as he's out saving the day. And essentially, he goes and does these things too fast, but she manages to cut him down or catch up to him at a small pawn shop that's being robbed by a gender bent heat wave. And basically, she basically says that hey, if you don't know as well, Heatwave and her gang, they've been taken out by a mysterious figure, and they think it's Superman. Superman managed to stop her, but the thing about Heatwave's tech is that it has been malfunctioning. Superman manages to break down and take down the rest, but Heatwave escapes after Lois intervenes, and Lois handcuffs herself to Clark in the middle of battle, which is kind of stupid for Lois, but that's neither here nor there. But anyway, as we can see, um, we see that Heatwave manages to escape, and they follow. But Clark is like saying, "Hey, I've got to take you back to the Daily Planet." Takes her back to the Daily Planet and says, "I'm leaving you here." He breaks the cuffs. Wish he had done that sooner because that would have, been more smart instead of putting you in danger in battle. But it's like saying, "Hey, you got to stay here, and I don't want you to get hurt." And as he flies off, she basically yells his name, Clark, and I'm surprised that he didn't pick up on that as he flew away. But anyway, he manages to track down Heatwave, who's running from this mysterious figure that's chasing her down. Superman manages to get in there, and they try to fight it out. There's some interesting things about his power scaling because apparently Lois tells him before he leaves that you don't know if you can handle extreme heat, which I, I I'm confused because he's handled a lot worse, even in the show up to that point. But neither here nor there. But as we can see, when he arrives, Heatwave is incapacitated, frozen, and we see that this. this mysterious figure is obviously, well, not obviously, you wouldn't even know it's Deathstroke, and the suit looks terrible. It looks, as somebody told me, like a bionicle figure. Um, no enhanced strength, nothing. Everything's like that. I almost thought that he would lose his eye in this situation because we don't know Slade Wilson has both of his eyes. I thought maybe Superman would cause him to lose an eye, but no, he doesn't. But they battle, and you have two extra big robots essentially going about the city, going about to face Superman with Deathstroke. So they begin attacking him and all this type of stuff. Now, what's interesting is that with the reveal, you also get Deathstroke, and you get also Amanda Waller make a public appearance, as well as they don't give the name of the general, but I have a feeling that it's General Eiling as well. But in this case, we see that as they're fighting, Clark has been having these weird visions whenever he gets close to this intergang tech that they use, which if you don't, which it's obviously pointing to the fact that one, it's either Kryptonian tech, or two, it is New Gods tech. Even though we haven't seen any boom tubes really relayed in this show. So Superman begins to fight these robots, and he's getting overpowered. Obviously, these robots are once again either New God tech or Kryptonian, so it's easy to see, and I can suspend my disbelief to see that Superman is getting beat by tech that he doesn't understand or has never really experienced. And of course, Slade Wilson is busy attacking him, taking him down. But throughout the whole battle, we see that a bridge gets damaged. Superman decides to say, "I got to save this bridge," and as he's holding it up, Amanda Waller tells Slade to take the shot, and Eiling's like, well, I'm going to call him Eiling until otherwise. He says, no, we're not here to hurt innocent people. We got to destroy this bridge. But Amanda Waller's like, okay, but you know what's coming. What's a few lives lost compared to the insurmountable billions that could be lost when the day is coming? And he's like saying, no, we're not going to do that. Stand down. So everybody stands down, and they leave. Superman repairs the bridge. He goes back to the Daily Planet. He's definitely cut up, and Lois sees him. She's still on the rooftop, but she finds out and she wants to basically get the fact that he's out of him. So she goes off and pulls off a Mary Jane from Spider-Man, the animated series in the '90s, and jumps off a building. Superman has no choice but to save her, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I was right." And then she starts going crazy, like saying, "Oh, you lied to me. You kept this from me." And Clark is rightfully confused, saying that, "Well, I didn't want to keep it from. I didn't want to say anything." And it's like, and I don't know how you handled it because you threw yourself off a building just to get me to reveal it. And he pretty much says like, I didn't want to tell you because you said that you would go about and that you would find Superman interview and publish all of his secrets. And obviously Clark does not want to release all of his secrets. But Lois, for some odd reason, feels betrayed. And she's like saying, I don't want to have anything to do with you romantically, and that's the end of that, even though we know that won't be the case. But it was such a stupid, stupid scenario. And if you don't know, Jimmy was out in the woods and he feels left out. He feels that his two friends have betrayed him because they wouldn't go on his camping trip with him. So he decided to say, I'll go on my own. And, Steve Lombard, who's the sports guy, tells him, hey, you're a lone wolf. Your friends didn't even come to get you and bail you out with a day with me because if you don't know, not like it was a major point of the whole plot of the episode. Perry put Jimmy with Steve to do whatever Steve wants, and it's turning out that Steve is the one that's debunking his videos, so that's there and that. So that's the end of that summary of that episode. Now going to the things I liked, which are pretty few, and the things that I disliked. Let me get the things that I liked. One thing I liked was definitely the third act of the episode. It felt like there were some stakes. You get Amanda Waller in with a cold calculation. You get this general, still calling him Eiling until further told, coming in, and then you see Deathstroke with Slade, and they're a credible threat. And they're offering him, this is not some goofy slice of life anime ripoff. Oh, he has superpowers, save the day thing. No, they're actually pressing him and pushing him. And I'm like, okay, this is pretty good. I was kind of invested in that part. And felt like a Superman show. Felt like a Superman show. Um, what I didn't like, that might be the only thing I liked. Amanda Waller, General Eiling, and Deathstroke when the villains came. I liked the villains of this episode, my goodness. But let's get to what I didn't like. Number one, the character, our main trio, our characters. Clark, you know, kind of not knowing how to hide his identity in plain sight. I mean, there's one thing of being kind of being, having a moment of lapses when it comes to your secret identity, but just being flat out in flat out blind to the fact that, oh, you have super strength. You just threw a dumbbell like it was a feather, and then it landed and then made a dent in the file cabinet in front of Lois. You didn't think that would pique her interest, and you're trying to keep her away. It makes Clark look dumb. Lois, on the other hand, freaking out about Superman, or Clark in this case, not telling her his secret, comes off as kind of, unempathetic, narcissistic, and selfish because he didn't want to tell you. And you haven't earned that trust yet. And the ironic thing is that if you allowed Clark to confess to you and you both went out, if you had given him time, he probably most likely would have told you. Very quickly, in fact. It reminds me of a video I watched on YouTube where they talked about the best non-canon girlfriend Spider-Man ever had. And she basically understood, found out Peter was Spider-Man, didn't didn't mention it at all, played along with it until he was ready. And they still had a very healthy relationship after that. This, though, was flat out disgraceful. I'm like, what the heck is going on? This is terrible. Then we get to Jimmy. Jimmy, damn man, Jimmy was terrible. And I mean, there's some because he doesn't act like Jimmy. Like he acts like a Steven Universe character, basically. He's like a mixture of Steve and I guess Roberto. I believe that was his name, the guy who was interested in the sci-fi stuff. He's clingy, he's needy, he can't do things on his own. Granted, maybe he had every right to be angry when if because Clark did give his word saying that hey, I'll come, and I'm guessing Lois by proxy probably gave his word, so he has a right to be angry. But man, you don't send you if you had a problem with Steve, sometimes you just got to go in and take it on the chin, get through the day, and then go. Not begging your friends to hey, get me out, get me out, get me out, get me out. Learning experience, bro. Learning experience. I am not liking Jimmy at all. And another thing I did not like, obviously, was the progression of how Superman's identity has now been found out by Lois because it was too quick, too fast. It's not like Lois did it and she was investigating. She just found a clipping on the floorboard in the last episode and said, oh, he must be Clark. And in this case, Clark tells him, and it's like there's no build up, there's nothing. I'm like, it's already his identity is out. Everybody's knowing it. Everybody's going to know it, which means Jimmy by proxy is probably going to know there's a possibility next episode. And so what's the point? Now Jimmy and Lois know at this early stage in life. There's a difference. Like, my goodness, it's terrible. You already know I just don't like it. But lastly, the designs, man. Heatwave, Heatwave has been gender bent. Heatwave is a woman. And I'm like, I guess. But at the same time, the tech that she uses, it looks terrible. It looks terrible. Just terrible. Deathstroke, if I can even call him that, as I mentioned earlier, looks horrific, terrible. I'm like somebody mentioned that he looks like Deathlock, like if you're doing blood sport, or it looks something like that. But that something like that. It comes out of that. That is not Deathstroke's look at all, especially since he has both of his eyes, so it looks even jarring. So the design looks terrible, man. Let me tell you. And well, that's it pretty much. I can say this is the I'm gonna go. I don't want to say it's the worst episode, but it kind of is, despite having a very strong third act. I gotta give this one a 5.5 because what is going on, man? Come on. Anyway, please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notifications when you're sure you're notified. I do these videos for you, the people, because I want to discuss animated shows, get your opinions on them, and give my opinions on them. And tell me what y'all think. Do you think that I'm too harsh on this episode? Do you think it was actually good? Do you think that more could be done? Or do you think I'm freaking out? Or do you think I'm right? Or are you mad on the episode? Thank y'all for watching, and I hope to have more videos up, I guess, next week. But I'm trying to get more videos out when I can. Peace.